Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today we're going to get to finally one of the very episodes I've been sort of waiting for to do for the last long time. And in this episode, I'm going to get into one of the things I've been long waiting to do, and that is go into MyAnimeList and check out all the anime titles released in the year 1989. And this is really important because now, a lot of new animes are coming out. This OVA Revolution is sort of coming out, so a lot of smaller and shorter OVAs are coming out, and so lots of good titles and that kind of stuff. I'm just really, getting into the letter writing, and I'm actually now getting some tape trades going, and this whole idea of trying to get maybe some subtitling equipment is all sort of kind of floating around. So I'm really getting heavily into this anime genre thing. And again, you gotta realize virtually nothing out in North America here is available yet, right? A lot of these major companies aren't releasing stuff until like 1992. So we're still, getting all the stuff in Japanese. There's lots of titles out there. We may not understand it, and we may not have really good access to it, but we know it's there, okay? And so in this episode, I want to get into all the titles in 1989. And the other good thing I want to do is at this time is be able to get and finally finish all the titles from 1990, like 1980s, right, basically. And then with that, I can then now make a nice, concise and more, very, very complete listing of all the top animes, both in TV shows, as OVAs, and as movies, and kind of, tier list them all together into some sort of very definitive best of the 80s type of, listing. Okay. And again, that's what the next sort of thing I need to do. And, but I need to get through all these episodes in order to get, the titles and that kind of stuff, and get the basis of, and get the sort of like little database going. Okay. So that's a good introduction. Again, I want you to remind everyone to go down below, click like and click subscribe. And, that way you get notified when I put a new episode. Now, one of the new things that I've got now finally installed down there is there is now a thanks button. So again, you don't have to wait until the anime giveaways. I don't ask, you don't have to, but I mean, if you, like a particular episode and you want to, give me thanks, well, I mean, go right there. A Patreon page where I can finally start getting some of the special, content and that kind of stuff available, and it gives you, other people some alternatives for other things I can do. That will be soon available, so just keep an eye out for that. I will tell you when that comes out, and that will be another alternative in order to get some content that you couldn't normally get on YouTube, because again, YouTube really restricts some of the stuff that I'm allowed here. So, some other place I can, get some more content, right? So, without further delay, let's begin. Okay, so we begin with the winter season of 1989, and first thing we begin with is the TV shows. And right away, there's not really anything of particular note in terms of TV shows. There is the Peter Pan TV series here. Again, this is in that era that sort of happened where it's like, hey, there's a kind of a book on it, so may as well try to release a anime about that kind of book. Things like Sherlock Hound, Anna Green Gables, the Three Musketeers, for example. All were those type of shows that kind of had some sort of literary background to them, and they said, well, let's just do an animated representation of it. But in this era, a lot of North American people that kind of got into this stuff never had any episodes of this, never traded copies of any of this and stuff, so pretty well got all pushed aside, so that we never really were aware of this particular show or ever saw this particular show. So we'll continue on past these TV shows and go on to the OVAs, and we'll just go past all the existing TV shows that are continuing. Okay, now these shows, if you want to know more information about these ones, I do recommend to go back to the 1988 video, and then you can see what what these TV shows were about when they first started. Okay, so let's go past all those to the OVAs. So we started the OAVAs with right off the bat with the Ginga Eiu Densetsu, which is the Legend of the Galactic Hero stories. This is another OVA. So you basically kick off the larger TV series. These nice OVA series are like nice short little clippets for the series. Now the series is actually very large and very shall we say very confusing if you get sort of dropped in the middle of it. But this OVA did serve as a good teaser to to get into the series. So again, if you want to get into to a larger sort of the epic space opera that is the Legend of Galactic Heroes, this is a nice sort of introduction, if you will. But really, you should really go through the TV series first in order to get the full environment of the actual OVA. And the next one is Gunbusters. Okay, so again, more release of the series of Gunbusters, the OVA series. The thing I like about the Gunbuster series is, no, of course, the artwork is done by Mikimoto, which is nice, sort of a cross, between that, that sort of like that Macross style that like drawn in there. But the other thing I really liked about it is the actual, sort of like the all the extra science and that kind of stuff around that was done into it, because one of the things that that really attracted me to to Japanese animation and that kind of stuff, especially in the era of Macross and that kind of stuff, is all the tech, right? All the some of the adherence to physics and that kind of stuff and whatnot. And this one was was really good for that, because it actually paid a little attention to some of the concept of near light speed travel and that things like that, and the possibility of what these quote unquote aliens were, right? So it was kind of a neat take on that. So that was really kind of a well made OEVA for that. Definitely one to check out. And the next one after that is, of course, Gundam 008 O, which is War in the Pocket. More Mikimoto stuff, which is really nice. But this is a really nice Gundam story, and a lot of people, when they talk about Gundam OVAs, what is a nice short Gundam OVA series that's worthwhile checking out. And I always go back to for all those people who don't want to get into a long stretched out 30, 40, 50 episode TV series for Gundam, but they just want something nice and short, concise, thing like that. Most people, given the constraints of time or length of video, will usually drop down to these various three titles, which is basically Gundam 008O, because that's only 6 episodes, Gundam 008-3, which is like 13, and Gundam MS-08 theme, which is also a short, nice 13 episode OVA series. So again, for those people who just want something short and concise, don't want to get into a long drawn series with all the extra, extra characters and political intrigue and that kind of stuff that is into a lot of these Gundams, this is a nice sort of series to check out. And basically, the concept of a war conflict and that kind of stuff, but through the eyes of like children. So it's a kind of interesting and different portrayal of, let's say, the Gundam conflict. And again, nice artwork in it, so it was a pretty nice story too. Okay, so continuing on with the OVAs, we have the next one called Riding Bean. So this is the one of the next projects from Kenichi Sonoda. So obviously he's been doing pretty well with the Golf Wars TV series, and of course the releasing of the Bubblegum Crisis. So now he's releasing another sort of a one-shotter called Riding Bean. Very popular, picked up by AnimeList, and is probably one of the very first releases that they did. Very, very popular, and really cool anime. Definitely worth checking out. Next one is Cypher. Now this one was kind of weird because this is that sort of light shoujo sort of artwork. So I wasn't really a big fan of that. But this video did come out, and I do remember renting a copy of this thing, and I watched it, and I realized this whole thing is literally like a music video. I mean, I guess it's one of these type of things where when you got the manga or something or whatever, and you're reading that, and this is sort of like, you know, the music videos and that kind of stuff, or image music or whatever for the manga and that kind of stuff. So, you know, there isn't really a story being told here. There's really nothing you would subtitle if you were going to subtitle this video. So there's nothing to it really, except, you know, to treat it like a music video. But otherwise, you know, if you're a fan of that kind of artwork, then great. You know, that might be something worth checking out. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much just a way to sell music and basically to quote sell an anime title for something that, you know, I guess they're kind of going through the concept of whether it might be actually possible to make an OVA or something series with this. But nothing ever transpired for this series, so kind of died by the wayside. And then the last one is Midnight Eye Goku. So this is the, you know, definitely really, really cool because I was a really big fan of his previous work, the Space Cobra. You know, so this is a, you know, another one of those sort of similar type of stories with a guy and his, you know, and the extra you know, female acquaintance. Of course, in Space Cobra, she was a robot, right? The sexy robot kind of theme. And so now here we've kind of done the kick it up a notch OEVA type of thing, where, you know, just like Crying Freeman did, you know, they tried to take that same concept and they tried to just make it just that, you know, a little bit more edgier, you know, try to make that a little bit more, you know, take a little more skin on that and just to kind of, you know, to sell it that way. And it was pretty good, actually. It's you know, it's one of those type of you know, those new edge titles that sort of kind of came out, you know, pushing the limit to how OEVAs were at this particular time. Okay, so we move on to the next line, and the first one is the Orange Road Mugitate OEVAs. So again, now that the Orange Road series is just over, they've got a bunch of OEVAs that came out to basically prolong the TV series. Of course, you know, most of us were waiting for the movie, where the, you know, the final decision needed to be made. But, you know, definitely some more episodes was definitely a delight because I said, you know, I really liked the series. I went and subtitled all the episodes of the series, and then all of a sudden these OVAs came out, and it's like, okay, great, hey, more stuff we can do. So again, you know, we got done all the episodes, and then, you know, when I did it in a previous episode, when I was going through the different letters and that kind of stuff, you know, I went and reviewed that. Yes, we did all the fan subs for the Orange Road TV series, and that ended in December. You know, basically through the Christmas break, we finished doing all the Orange Road TV series, and then of course, you know, right into the new season, we had these new OEVAs that sort of came out. So again, I'm sure I probably, you know, placed the order with the bookstore to order these laser discs for the OEVAs, and they probably would have arrived in the new year, in the 1990s probably, or when they finally came out, though, because this is the winter season of '89, right? So the next series on this list is the Crusher Joe OVA. So again, this is a you know, more you know, a secondary release for the Crusher, you know, ever popular Crusher Joe movie. So again, you know, very popular movie that came out, and now they decided, hey, you know, we'll make, since it was also popular, we'll make some more OVAs based on that characters and that kind of stuff. So we placed more of those. So again, the you know, more release of the Crusher Joe series, and again, you know, his work is really nice. And, you know, again, you know, we'll see more of his stuff when he gets into like Venus Wars and that kind of stuff later on. And very, you know, I like his art style. It's very good. That and his other movie Arion was also very, very nice. So again, check out his work there. And the last one on the list is another one of these, you know, let's make more of it type of OVAs. After a very successful series of Golf Force, Kenichi Tsunoda continues on and makes more Golf Force, and it's now the Rhea Golf Force. So again, you know, another sort of similar type of story to the Golf Force story, except more conclusion, because well, I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of the first, you know, Stardust War OVA series, but now they created this new sort of Rhea Golf Force, very similar looking like characters that you would come see that Kenichi Tsunoda is very known for. And of course, you know, he's releasing lots of good stuff. Obviously, you know, he's got like Riding Bean, Yeah, he's got the new Golf Force that's coming out. You already knew that he had released the previous Golf Force, and the big series Bubblegum Crisis that he's releasing right now as well. So he's really high up there in the high in demand type of uh, you know animation character design right now. So it's pretty much good as his time, and he's really making a really good go at these OEVA series right now. So definitely something worth checking out. Okay, so the next one is an OEVA called Keiseki Kayukuku. Never heard of this one actually, and no distribution for. And even it is actually done by a fairly famous person. The character designer is for like Aim for the Ace, Tomorrow's Joe, for example, Blackjack for Cat's Eye, Gogo 13. So yeah, very famous. I don't know, just this particular OVA totally flew under the radar, and again, no one actually had any links with this particular OVA. Okay, so the next one going up here is an anime called Miruku. Okay, now I've heard of this title, but I don't have any videos of it because I think this is one of those videos that sort of got caught in, that sort of there's other videos out there, so it kind of got ignored. Now it is not really made by a really famous sort of anime company and whatnot, and in concept it's pretty much the same as shooting doji, right? Of course, and maybe a little bit of Pink Noise 3, which is Mario Senki. But of course, those things have the advantage of Short Doji is done by Go Nagai, so that's a big name, sort of has something to push it. So that sort of has the same sort of concept that goes with it. And then on the other hand, you have like Pink Noise 3, that's done by Sea Moon, and of course, in terms of good hentai titles, when you get Sea Moon, then you're pretty well set. So it's one of these titles that sort of has no presence, and because of that, it just sort of gets forgotten. All right, so that's one of these another one of the animes that sort of no one really knew about and just kind of is forgotten. And the last one on this line is the Borgman Last Gig of the World. So this is another one of these music videos. Essentially, it's basically let's take all the Borgman characters and let's put them into a band and let's make them play a whole bunch of these different songs and that kind of stuff, and make music videos out of things and basically put them together into a big clip. Nothing unusual. I mean, at this time, a lot of animes sort of did that. Dan Cougar, Zillion, they all made musical video kind of anime OVAs just to basically milk a little bit more out of the franchise. Okay, and the final row here, we have nothing I recognize actually, and even Twin actually. I sort of came. I was sort of interested in all those motorcycle type things just because my roommate David, he was really interested in all those Bari Bari Densetsu and F1 and that kind of stuff and whatnot. But even a title like Twin, never ran across it. I think I might have glanced over it, in an Animedia magazine or something. But other than that, yeah, no exposure to that any of these ones at all. Okay, so let's go speed ahead here to the movies for this season. And right on the first row of the movies, we are welcomed with a nice, good series of blockbuster hits right here. Right away, we have the Saint Seiya movie, and this one is the next installment of Saint Seiya movies. So in this particular one, the Athenian saints have to basically go against Lucifer. So again, we got rid of the in the previous movies, they gotten rid of the Poseidon saints. That's all of the Poseidon and all the water stuff, and then of course they got rid of Eris and all the Norse saints, so all the Norse gods and that kind of stuff, Valhalla and all that and whatnot. And so why not? Let's bring out Lucifer and let's challenge them. And of course, I don't need to tell you the plot because you probably already figured out what happens because it happens in every other movie that they make. So more Saint Seiya. But these are the more important two. We have the Venus Wars. Okay, so Yaz is really hot as well, releasing great movies such as Crusher Joe. He has the Crusher Joe OVAs also released in the same section. He had the movie Arion, as I mentioned earlier. So he's definitely on a hot streak as well. So again, a lot of movies and that kind of stuff, and a lot of OVAs coming out from Yaz at this time. Very good thing, really neat, kind of a different sort of concept. Being able to, to have this sort of conflict on the planet Venus and that kind of stuff and whatnot. Great animation, lots of action scenes and really well drawn for this movie. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. And the other one that's always been really heavily pushed is 5-star stories. Now I really got just fascinated with this series because ever since I saw it in New Type, I mean this, I said in a previous episode how New Type magazine was just outright pushing this movie on you guys, right? I mean, literally, I mean, for this one movie release, I mean, I can count, well over, 12, maybe even up to 20 issues of New Type that have this on the front cover of New Type, just pushing 5-star stories on you. They had the manga running inside the New Type magazine, and lots of posters and that kind of stuff, just pushing it. And it was I really was really fascinated with this universe because I said Nagamo was all fascinated with this this pentagram star system with the 5 stars, right? So and there's this thought that maybe he'd tie Elgheim and Dunbine and all this other stuff in the other star systems. And so they're supposed to all sort of kind of like in one universe sort of thing. So I was kind of hoping that it would all kind of come together like that. But it never did because we only just got this one movie. I mean, it's a good movie. Definitely, don't get me wrong. It does feel like you've been kind of dropped into the universe, but very well drawn, and great cinematics for it. And some good action stuff to it. As again, the art style really kind of reminds me of almost like a fashion designer, right? Because I said, the things like the Mirage Knights and that kind of stuff, very, very, fashion model like kind of people and whatnot. It's really kind of very interesting, like I said, and the mecha design was really good because it's very, very reminiscent of Heavy Metal Elgheim and things like that. So it was really a big influence on me. All right, continuing along here, we continue with the animated version of Sengoshi, or basically the Three Musketeers. So again, this is the movie version, was the OVA version of this of the series. Again, not too much happened over here on the North American front, but very, very popular in France and that kind of stuff. It was released. I remember on the French channel as Sucing the Mousquetaire, and it was, I caught a few episodes of this kind of stuff, and it was an interesting concept. Again, more of this kind of, it was based on a book, and so they decided, okay, well, why not make an animated version of that kind of thing. So, and the next one is Utsuno Miko. So again, this is more of that Yun Koga stuff, and this was a really nice short OVA series for that. This is the movie version of the release that they did for the based off of the OVA series of the same name. Nice artwork, as I've always liked that kind of that kind of soft art style to that. But yeah, definitely got a neat movie to check out. Yeah. Okay, we just page ahead here because there's nothing else for the rest of that in terms of movies. That's a particular I've noticed. Now. We go to the little sort of mini TV specials and that kind of stuff. And again, the only one of particular note is that they have the super deformed Gunbusters, which is again, just like the first release of Gunbusters, they made a sort of a mini SD Gunbusters supplement episode or whatever. It ended up being released and put on the end of the Laserdisc. But basically, what it was is it's kind of a super deformed version of the Gunbuster characters. Explaining things that probably needed a little bit more emphasis on, especially when they got into the physics, into the science, right? The concept of Albert Einstein, and the theory of relativity, approaching things when objects travel closer to the speed of light, how it dilates time and all, because that, of course, that's what happens in OEVA number 3 for Gunbusters, and they kind of need to explain that. So what they did is they made it into sort of a mini episode, and they kind of put that again. That at the end result was released with the Laserdisc or with the video cassette at that time. Okay, so this episode has gone very, very long. It's over 20 minutes already, so I'm going to do a summary and give you some just suggestions for of the best anime that you would get in this particular season. Okay, so we'll start with the TV series, and of course there are no TV series of any note in this series, so that's easy. There's no recommendations in that department. Now OVAs, okay, there's quite a few good titles in there, definitely. But if I had to limit it down to 4, I will give you these 4. Definitely right off the top, I'd say Gundam 0080. Again, has all things going for it. Good artists like Mikimoto, good franchise like Gundam. This is one of those key example Gundams, which really, exemplifies, one common theme, and that is how war affects children. And it really, very, very powerful message. And a nice, sad ending on that thing. And it was very, very well done. Definitely something that needs to be checked out there. The second suggestion for OEVAs would be definitely the Crusher Joe OEVAs. Again, Yaz has really, really great art styles. He's again another one of these very hot artists at this particular time. So definitely check out these more extended episodes of the Crusher Joe franchise. Very good. At number 3 would be Riding Bean. So again, Kenichi Sonoda, very popular artist. Again, everyone's riding off of the high of Bubblegum Crisis and things like Gunsmith Cats and all this other stuff, right? So Riding Bean would be obviously right up that same alley of that type of series and artwork. So definitely, would definitely want to check out. And the last one to check out in this series would be the Gunbusters series. Again, also drawn by Mikimoto. Very, very nice artwork for that. Great sort of realistic sort of science fiction type of story, which was again very prevalent in this time, because again a lot of shows were based off of science fiction type stuff. So your 4 definitely that you need to check out 4 OVAs in this season would be obviously your Gundam 0080, your Crusher Joe, Riding Bean, and Gunbusters. Okay, so let's go over the movies. The movies, there's not very many of them, but there's 3 that obviously right off the top would be very good. So 5-Star Stories would be my first pick off that one. Again, highly promoted and highly pushed on you, and so definitely it's one of those things you got to check out, because just why is New Type hyping it so much? And then when you watch it, it's like, wow, this is actually very well animated. Some of the scenes are really nice, and again, the good action pieces in the end of it. Definitely is a much larger story. I wish they did more with it, but this is what we have as a feature movie. The second one would be obviously Venus Wars. Okay, so more stuff from Yaz. Of course, he's got so much stuff coming out in the last little while with Crusher Joe, Arion, and now Venus Wars. Okay, so and of course I recommend the OEVAs. He also had more OEVAs coming out. So again, very popular artist at this particular time. And the third choice would be obviously the Saint Seiya movie. So again, they seemed to hit this magical formula with the TV series, and they kept releasing movies after movies for Saint Seiya, just because they're just going through the mythologies here, and it really resonated, and so they just kept on making more of them sequels. So definitely, this is the another sequel movie for the Saint Seiya franchise. All right. I hope you enjoyed some of the animes that and you can see there's a lot of really good animes coming out at this time. So again, this is where the market has sort of shifted, and I was realized that hey, there's some pretty good animes out there. So we can start the 1990s with a really good, nice kickstart with all these different titles coming out. All right, so don't forget to stay tuned for that. All right, and again, so again, And all right, and don't forget to stay tuned, and as we get into the breakdown of some of the better animes for this era, a decade of the 1980s. All right, so until next time, see you again.